Welcome to Amazing Business Radio with best-selling author and customer service and business expert, Shep Hyken. Shep will talk with some of the smartest thinkers in business to help make you more successful in your professional and personal life. This is Amazing Business Radio with Shep Hyken.
Hello, everybody. It's Shep Hyken here. We're back with another episode of Amazing Business Radio. And today we're going to be talking with Damon Covey, who is the general manager of Unified Communications and Collaboration at GoTo. And we are going to be talking about AI, all kinds of ways to use AI to be more productive, to create a better customer experience, and probably much more. When I talked to Damon prior to the show, I said, let's talk about a theme. Give me some questions you'd like me to ask. And he really didn't give me many ideas for questions, but he said, I really like the idea that AI should be boring. I go, that's intriguing. What does that mean? Well, you're going to find out. And if you are a small business or a big business, it doesn't matter. You're going to hear something that will apply to your business. Before we get started, a couple of quick announcements. First, I'd like to thank Birdie.ai for sponsoring our show. Birdie takes customer experience to the next level instantly, uncovering, understanding, and quantifying users' friction and pain points. More about them at the break. Second, if you've got an amazing story that you want to share, or you have a question that you want me to answer, please reach out to me on any of the social channels because I'm pretty much everywhere. And if it is a question, please use the hashtag AskShep. I'll either answer the question right there on this show or in my newsletter, the Shepherd Letter. And you can get a newsletter subscription simply by going to Hyken, HYKEN.com, and it's free, won't cost you a thing. Just fill out the form. And in addition to the newsletter coming to your inbox every Wednesday, you'll also get a copy of my annual customer experience research. So with that in mind, let's get into today's interview. Damon Covey of GoTo. Damon, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Shep. Great to be here.
I'm excited that you're here. I have been working with GoTo for many years, and it's exciting to see the changes that have been taking place over the years. And your job as the general manager of Unified Communications and Collaboration, what a title is that? I mean, I love it. It's a big one. Give us a little background on, just what you do over there at GoTo, what GoTo is, and what you see happening in the world over at GoTo.
Yeah, absolutely. So, general manager of GoTo. So basically overall things are Go to Connect products, our core collaboration products. People know us by Go to Meeting, Webinar, and Training. Some of those products as well. We also host a number of IT solutions. So we do a lot of remote support solutions with our rescue products and other endpoint management products as well. So that's a little bit about kind of what we do, day in and day out, and excited about what we offer there. I've been in technology, Shep, on and off for 30 years or so. It sounds like a long time, but it has been a long time. But super happy to be here, and really I lead not only the technology and innovation team, but I also get a chance to lead our cross-functional team. So looking at how we go to market with the products, how we actually solve customer problems, how we market the products, et cetera.
Well, I think that's great. And I know that part of what we wanted to talk about today, and I've talked a lot about AI on the show before. One of the things you emphasize is that some of the ideas you're going to share today, and you're going to go a little tactical with us too. So I'm excited about that. We're not just going to talk at a super high level, but we're going to get into the weeds and say, you can do this. But you mentioned that this is great for small business too. Many years ago, not that many, 8-10 years ago, what we're about to talk about would have cost a company hundreds of thousands perhaps to put into place. And today you can do it for hundreds, not tens or hundreds of thousands. So that kind of gets me excited that we are going to be talking, and I guess our audience, whether they're small or big, will get something out of this. So the other idea that we talked about, and we were looking for a title for the show, like what's the theme of the show? AI should be boring. And I'd like to say that customer service should be boring. And what I mean by that is Bill Price, who's been on the show before, was the first VP of Amazon for customer service. He sat down with Jeff Bezos, and they were interviewing, and Jeff said, by the way, this is before they were as a huge company. They were like, let's go across the street and have a cup of coffee. No security. Let's just walk over there. And that wouldn't happen today. But Bill, what is your definition of great service? And he said, no service. He goes, you're hired. And what he meant by that is we should be so good, or the service should be so easy that it's boring. There's no drama. There's no there's no super big complaints or emergencies. So how do you feel about that?
I love that definition. I think that's amazing, right? To your point, I mean, I think about what's great about customer service is everybody has experiences and everybody has feelings about this particular space. But I absolutely think you're right in terms of, what's the best customer service options and people that I've ever talked to is they're able to just get in and get out and solve the problem in the way that I want to communicate and solve the problem. And that's what makes communication special, or makes customer support special and communication special. And so the other thing I would say is, we can talk more about this, but like talking to customers the way they want to talk to them. You talk about boring. That's one of the coolest things you can do is talk to your customers the way they want to be spoken to, right? If they want to talk to somebody, let them be spoken to, let them, chat with you, let them, text you, things of that nature. So I think that's all kind of, as you say, on the boring side of things, I'm texting all day long. That's boring to me, but if I can get support that way, if that's my preferred mode at that point, it's fantastic.
So is it all these different ways, texting and messaging and apping and talking on the phone and everything? It's not hard anymore. You don't have to go and find 5 or 7 different solutions to get in the channel. One company can do it all. By the way, this isn't a blatant plug for GoTo, but it sounds like it is. But that's part of what GoTo does. You've unified communications means you're bringing in all these different channels. That's part of it.
Absolutely. And as you said, right, that used to be kind of, and we see this with a lot of large customers still. They'll go buy best of breed point solutions to do this, best of breed point solutions to do that, et cetera. But smaller customers, A, don't have that opportunity because they can't spend all that money. And then B, they want something that works together out of one centralized place, right, wherever they work. And so, as you said, Shep, it's a reality today, right? They don't have to look for 4 or 5, 6 different solutions that integrate together, that bring that in. So texting and web chat and social media and all of the other things that they want to communicate with their customers over, that's all part of one centralized solution today. And again, not to do a commercial, but we happen to have a product offering called GoTo Connect CX that brings this into reality for customers. So again, imagine not being a dedicated contact center agent, as an example, because contact centers have had a lot of these technologies for a long time. But if you're a customer facing representative, let's say at a bike shop, as an example, right, or at an automotive dealership, but your job is not to sit and answer phones all day long, you're doing something else, but you're still talking to customers. Now we can give those folks the ability to use all of those functionalities too. And those are the things that are critical and different in today's world versus, 5 or 10 years ago, as you said.
Yeah. And 5 or 10 years ago, you would walk into a contact center or go into a person's office, a salesperson, and they have multiple programs open. Oh, this is in case a customer wants to text me. I need to be on this platform. Oh, but over here, I've got, my emails, and they're separate. And the goal is bring them all together. And the companies that have done that have made their customers happy because they have the multiple channels, but more importantly, they made their employees really, really happy because they no longer have to have multiple windows open. And if you'd ever been in a contact center before, I think it's like you're watching a person who's really good. It's like they're playing a musical instrument and going up and down, like piano. They're going up and down the keyboard, 88 keys. It's not one note, it's 88 keys. And that's what it almost seems like when you have 7, 8 different programs open. So pulling it all together is really important. Well, I want to talk really about 3 big areas today. And the first one is conversational AI. And I'd love to get your definition so the average human can understand what this means. Many of us have played with ChatGPT in the last couple of years, which is why consumers and general non-techies are starting to understand what AI is. But let's give them your version of what conversational AI is all about.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to pick on what you said earlier in terms of boring, fun. So we really, at the end of the day, want to make AI boring as well, right? Make it part of what they do. So if you think about AI, it's sci-fi land still for a lot of people, right? And there's some malaise around what that actually means. But conversational AI, which is we're used to ChatGPT and large language models and being able to go on and ask questions, things of that nature. But imagine bringing that functionality to the ability to converse like we are and talk to customers and answer phones. So we're all familiar with chatbots, right, that have been around for a while. They're fairly finite in their ability to talk to customers and answer questions. But imagine the ability to have a conversation, right? So you can call in and speak to someone in the exact way you and I are talking today. Maybe even fumble over words, and the AI can still understand you, understand intent, even switch languages with you, things of that nature. That's really what conversational AI is there to do: is act as an employee, and augment your business essentially at the end of the day, to bring in, appointment setting, right? Or do other things that you would want them to do in your environment. And so you'll see the introduction of, conversational AI will introduce new employee optionality. But again, it's really just about bringing a voice with a large language model or an AI model on the back end that exposes that functionality. What's really cool and what's interesting about how this technology is coming along and what we'll see in 2025 is it's very, very close to human precise in the way it speaks to you. And that's really important. People are tired of chatbots. I don't know about you, Shep, but when I contact companies I'm working with, I almost fly into a rage, right? If I can't speak to the chatbot in the way that I would just normally talk to you, or get the help that in the way that I would want to. And this really brings that to the forefront, and it also brings it to, in this case, we're bringing it to the masses, right? So again, not just the large customers, so that's there for them as well, but how about bringing that to smaller customers also? But again, being able to, bring that, LLM in a voice pattern, in a chat pattern, things of that nature, and converse with your customers. That's really what conversational AI is all about.
LLM, large language model. And you said chat. When I want to make sure, chat bot to me is typing to a company and getting a response back. And a bot is, if you think about it, it's robotic, it's computer, it's the chat bot is AI interacting with you. There's conversational or voice types of AI where you're talking. And it does drive me crazy, Damon, that I would talk to a computer and it would sound like a computer talking back to me, not a human talking back to me.
Yes, absolutely. And again, what you'll see here, very shortly, it's already happening, is, talking to these, again, the conversational AI employees, if you will, and them speaking to you just like a human. People will be surprised and shocked at how close it is to you and I having this conversation.
So there is something I'm looking for it right now. Google has a product called Notebook LM, maybe for learning language model, Notebook LM, .google.com. I just became aware of this about maybe 6 weeks ago, maybe 2 months ago at the most. And essentially, I have something I want summarized, and a voice comes on and says, here's the summary of what you just gave me. And it sounds like I'm talking, like me. It doesn't sound my voice. It's as human as you and I are talking right now, yet it is completely AI. It sounds nothing like the robotic voice that we're used to. I would have thought I was talking or hearing from another human being.
Yes, exactly like that. And it's incredible. And by the way, it's every single day we're getting better and better at making it exactly like a conversation, which is again why it's called conversational AI. So, we'll tune that in. And one of the things that we're doing at GoTo is spending a lot of time, because I think it's important for the customer experience. And again, imagine unlocking this. You talk about Google, a lot of resources there, a lot of opportunities with that, but smaller customers having the ability to bring that into their environment as well and unlock that same kind of functionality. Absolutely powerful, incredible.
And what would be the best use case for this?
So there's a couple of use cases that I'll hit, a couple key use cases. So, for example, if your shop's open 8 to 5, right? And but you don't want to miss calls after that point. Maybe you're not wanting to text all day long every day, right? And so you could have a conversational AI agent AI receptionist that could answer your phone after hours, set appointments, maybe redirect to a human if you want to allow that. So really, at the end of the day, never miss a customer appointment, even if it's during the day. And let's say someone was on the phone, and you just want to say, hey, you know what? Phone system, let's just plug this in as a node. And if all of my people are on the phones, we'll just bring that up, right? And set an appointment, maybe answer some common questions. It can even do really cool things like, let's say that you're an automotive dealer and someone calls and wants to set a service appointment. And you could actually tell the conversational AI, ask them about their warranty. Are they still in warranty? Or maybe they're just interested in hearing about a warranty. And if they say yes, we could redirect them to an agent to hear about a warranty. So it can even do, really cool things like upselling customers and redirecting them to places where they can get additional services and recommending those things as well. So those are some common use cases we see that customers want to solve. But again, that can be spun up on the fly as part of their telecommunications system.
Right. So this is like the non-techie description of what AI is capable of doing, which I love, because I love, in my world, one of the things I think makes me successful with my clients is I try to take the complicated and make it simple. That's exactly what you're doing right now, Damon. Let's take a quick break. We're going to talk more about this idea that AI can help you when your business is closed. It could automate processes and make things easier for you. We're coming right back after this quick message. Don't go away. I'd like to take a moment to thank Birdie.ai for sponsoring our show and share a little bit about what they do. Birdie.ai turns customer feedback into actionable insights by consolidating that feedback from multiple sources into one AI-powered platform. With Birdie, you'll be able to uncover hidden patterns and trends and turn them into actionable insights to make smarter decisions about CX and product strategies. The result of all of this ties into three of the most important outcomes for any business. First is a reduction in customer churn. Second is improved NPS and customer satisfaction ratings. And third is boosting customer retention. Birdie.ai effectively empowers customer experience teams with superpowers that do all of that and more. Discover the power of Birdie. Visit Birdie.ai. That's BIRDIE.ai today. Birdie, where insights meet action.
You're listening to Amazing Business Radio with best-selling author and customer service and business expert, Shep Hyken.
We are back on Amazing Business Radio. We're talking with Damon Covey, who is the general manager of Unified Communications and Collaboration over at GoTo. And we're talking about making customer experience boring, making AI boring, making it just so it's something that's there whenever I need it. And it just happens to always be there. And I never have any drama or anything to complain about because it always takes care of me. Now, we focused mostly on the customer experience for the first half of this interview. And toward the latter part of that first half, we started to get into other things such as being able to use AI and different tools to augment what we do, being able to handle business off hours. So Damon, what I want to do is start with the idea that we can use this product, AI, of some type, generative AI, large language models, whatever you want to use it for, to do things that we normally couldn't do because maybe, like we were talking about, business is closed. So the door is closed at 5 or 6 o'clock, yet we want to keep our phones open, be able to talk to customers. Let's go there for a few minutes, and then I want to get into some other things that'll make us all more productive.
Sounds great. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, being able to, augment, as you said, Shep, very well, is take things the business can't do. Either they don't have enough employees maybe to handle, which is a good problem to have, by the way, or they're doing, if you're a plumber, as an example,
I want to make sure
to be
I
on
get
the job and do that.
Hold on, I want to get this right. You said not having enough employees is a good thing. It's a good thing if you have so much business that you need more employees, but I think that's what you meant.
That is what I meant. Well stated. And yes, thank you for correcting that. I didn't want anyone to take the opposite away from that. That's for sure. Yeah.
So we can't get any good people here. That's a different problem.
Yes. Good problem to have too much business, not enough employees. Well said.
Yeah. All right. I'm sorry I interrupted.
No worries. And so, as we were talking about is just the ability to start to take things to the next level for the business, right? To actually, do things that they are not able to do today, right? Again, to take orders, to set service appointments after hours, to even answer simple questions. So, think about the ability to quickly, let's make it practical and boring for a minute, right? If you've got a website, why not have, a conversational AI agent just quickly crawl your website, find your FAQs, find your hours of operations, things of that nature, and be able to answer those questions when someone calls in, right? If they have a question about your hours or what services you offer, be able to answer those and then redirect those to an agent. And what's cool, what makes this boring and practical is the fact that you can actually put this in as part of your telecommunications and your customer communication system. So you don't have to think about it constantly and worry about it constantly. Set it up once, forget it, let it run, and then it will learn with you. And then if you want to go back and make some tweaks and changes along the way, that's critical. But again, it can definitely augment your business, augment your staff, and augment your service opportunities for your customers.
Yeah. One thing you said in the first half, which I think ties into this, you said you should think of AI as an employee. And you used I don't know if you said the T word, training, but essentially you want that to crawl the website and learn everything that's on that website and then tell it. You can't go outside of the website. You have to stay in the website. Or if you have frequently asked questions, you have a really nice robust answer. You can't go outside of the answer, but what you are allowed to do is put it in words that the customer will understand. If I'm talking to them at a 5th grade level, it'll talk to me at a 5th grade level. If I'm talking to it at a sophisticated technological, masters and who knows what engineering level, I would be able to communicate at that level on that. And it will do that. It's amazing what you do. And here's the other thing. It doesn't take long to implement this. And it doesn't cost a lot. And number 3, training. Treat it like an employee. You're going to have to train it. It's going to make mistakes, and it wants you to teach it and learn so that it doesn't make mistakes again.
Absolutely. Well said. And again, think about this imagine for a few $100s a month, literally, you can, have an employee sitting out there able to answer calls and answer other communications methods from you. And as you said, we can train it. If we wanted to do a warranty upsell or listen for a keyword and say something back to the customer, we can help it get smarter over time. What you don't want to do, and I think the other thing you said, I'll hit on, Shep, is you don't want it to start experimenting with or drawing from information outside of your environment, right? So a large language model, as you said, like it could, if you go on to ChatGPT as an example, it'll draw from its entire database, right? For anything that might be out there, it'll answer a question on something. You don't really want that with your system. So you want to feed it some specific parameters and then get better as you go. And it's a very easy thing to set up. What we're finding is, and again, as you said, train that, add other parameters, feed a Word document into it. Just basically make sure it stays within the realm of what you want it to do, and then get better and optimize as you go.
Yep. There is also a job that's very important. They say AI can take away jobs. And in this particular case, you're using it to answer basic questions and allowing your people, freeing them up. But there is a job that's needed, and that is a job to oversee the answers that your AI is giving your customers, because that way it can ensure there's some type of a quality control. So it's still, I think that oversight is very important. Once again, it's just like an employee. If you don't listen to what they're telling their customers, they may be telling them something wrong. So you've got to pay attention and make sure they're being trained and they're being coached, and that's how you treat AI.
Absolutely. It's the exact same thing. And it needs, garbage in, garbage out in some cases. And in this case, in many cases, you want it to be that way because you don't want that to stray outside the parameters of what you've done and things you've set up inside your company.
Yep. All right. Let's jump to the third thing I want to talk about, which is the assisting the business idea of becoming more productive. So this isn't about interacting with customers. It's about using AI to help us become just more successful, more productive, get more out of a day than we've ever had before.
Yes. And this is, I would say, the prototypical definition of boring, right? Is, assisting and making sure the mundane is done in an automated way. So, for example, if you're on a call and you have an integration with your phone system or your telecommunication system into your CRM, you don't want to necessarily have to type the notes in for what that call is. You want that to happen for you automatically, right? You want to be able to report on that automatically. So, we can actually crawl the call and, bring that information up. And as you said, automate those mundane tasks you're doing over and over again to, help your employees be more productive. In some cases, dare I say it, maybe they can take a break before the next call because they can actually have something write the notes for them or summarize that call. And so, that's the other thing I would say, Shep, you mentioned is we definitely see AI as something that can assist and augment versus replace, right? I think that's a really important way to look at it. And we think that's where the opportunity lies for AI, not in, getting rid of, sheaves of employees, but in really taking, advantage of the opportunities and options that the current employees and businesses have.
Yeah. Well, and you bring up a very good point. Let's talk about that. because if you listen to McKinsey and different firms that are looking, there's a couple others that have said this AI thing, employees, it's going to wipe out industries. There's going to be no more customer service reps. I don't see that happen anytime soon. I mean, I don't know if it's ever going to happen at all. What is your take on that?
I think there's some that will try, and I think they'll fail ultimately. I do agree with you, Shep. I think it's going to be that's a really high bar to get past. I don't see it happening anytime soon. And I think, frankly, those who can figure out what's the right balance between AI and having real humans interact, I think that's where the magic lies. And those who figure that out will actually make customer service a differentiator for their solution.
Yeah, amen to that. That's everything that I write about and preach to my clients. So thanks for reinforcing. All right, we're down to the last question. We're out of time. I want to know if you have one last nugget of wisdom you want to share with us today before we jump off.
Yeah, I think just this is AI can be daunting, right? We've talked about a lot of things, and there's a lot to hear about and talk about it in the land of AI. What I would say is start with the problem in mind, what you're trying to solve for that problem. Start somewhere small that's very practical, very boring to solve, and then find out where those attachments are and what the solutions provide are out there. But start small and then start to build out from there, as opposed to worrying about what the big AI would bring to the table. I think that's one nugget of wisdom as you make AI a reality for your business. That's where I would suggest to start.
So, and actually, I'm hearing two things out of that. One is start with the end in mind. What's the problem? Work backwards. And the second piece of that is let's not go for the big ones. Let's play with the small ones before we graduate to larger ones. And eventually we're going to get there, and probably pretty quickly.
Absolutely. Totally agree. Well said.
All right, Damon. Well, thanks so much for being on the show. I love it. This is why we call it Amazing Business Radio. We have heard from an expert on all things related to AI and technology, and how we can, even as a small business or large business, but small. I love that you emphasize that. Very inexpensive, very easy to implement today. We can take advantage of this. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Shep. Great to be here.
All right, everybody, that wraps it up. Another interview. We'll be back next week, and I promise you it will be another amazing time. So please come back, and until that time, this is Shep Hyken, and I am reminding you to always be amazing.